Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll be looking at 9 shoe trends and why we hope they'll be kicked to the curb. As devotees of classic style, we prefer our shoes to be like most of the other items in our wardrobe. Effortlessly versatile, timelessly styled, and quality investments. And while styles that are currently on trend might not be the sort of thing that we look to have in our wardrobes. Do any of us look like hype beasts? We are still aware of trends as they develop. But please note, we dislike these styles because they don't fit within the realms of classic style, which is what this channel is all about. Now, this doesn't mean that these shoes are intrinsically bad, or that people who wear them are poorly dressed. It only means that they aren't indicative of the classic style. As always, wear what you want, but if what you want is classic style, then we think our opinions will be helpful to you. So then, let's check out our individual examples. Squishy-soled shoes. We like the term squishy when referring to trendy shoes with chunky, bulbous soles, because it captures how gooey, squashy, and slightly damp these shoes look to us, especially this example from Yeezy. Excuse me, I think you stepped in some gum. Oh. This trend started in the early 2010s, when athletic shoe brands like Adidas revived style designs from the 80s and 90s. Originally, these squishy shoes were supposed to improve performance and cushion the feet, but their distinctive appearance and retro feel made them a fashion piece. And as often happens with fashion, someone decided that bigger was better. Through the years, these shoes have grown successfully larger and more squidgy, culminating with the Balenciaga Triple S line, named for its complex 3-layer outsole. I guess if one sole is good, 3 have to be better, right? These shoes aren't fit for lovers of classic style because they intentionally spoil the silhouette of the foot to garner attention. The sole is lifted, the heel extended, and the arch padded in an unnatural way. And this will compel a second glance at the unusual profile. And we're pretty sure this is primarily intended to emphasize the branding. Logos are mentioned no less than 3 times in the product details of this shoe. Classic style relies on subtly enhancing the natural profile of the foot. And it's clear that's not the goal of these squishy-soled shoes. Next, stock sneakers. We are tempted to say that we're opposed to this trend because of its portmanteau, snockers. These shoes can trace their origins back to the late 90s and early 2000s, when athletic shoe manufacturers used mesh slip-ons to eliminate the need for laces or tongues. Many brands continued to trumpet the modern knit snockers as performance-enhancing and intended for athletic endeavors. We're not able to comment on that. Instead, we'll note how, stylistically, these shoes occupy the spectrum opposite that of the squidgy shoe, as they are thin, low profile, and sleek. But being the opposite of a squidgy shoe doesn't make it a classic shoe. Snockers are still disruptive and distracting, immediately drawing the eye with their unexpected texture and lines, which seem to elongate the foot. The result is a shoe that demands attention, and with its unusual design, it's simply too futuristic for a classic look. Frankly, to us, snockers look just a little bit too much like a pair of gym socks glued to a rubber sole, and that's a hard look for anyone to pull off. Next, Frankenshoes. Like the squishy shoes, we've lamented these dress shoe sneaker hybrids before, as one of 15 general style trends we'd hope would die forever. But Dr. Frankenshoes' monster is still stumbling through the village. Frankenshoes are an effort to let consumers have their cake and eat it too. They promise the elegance and refinement of a dress shoe with the comfort of a sneaker. But all they manage to do is ruin both. The clean, minimalist design of a classically styled sneaker are cluttered with the designs of a dress shoe. Details like broguing and medallions, while dress shoe uppers are drastically dressed down with casual laces and chunky soles. The result is a shoe that's too casual to be worn as a dress shoe and too formal to be worn as a sneaker. I guess the only place to wear them is on an ice raft drifting out to sea. It's a reference to the end of the Frankenstein novel. Oh darn, sorry, spoiler alert. Frankenshoes often prey upon the assumption held by many men that all dress shoes are uncomfortable. But in fact, a properly fitted dress shoe can be just as comfortable as any Frankenshoe, and is actually far more versatile than you might think. Here's Raphael to explain the basics of how a men's dress shoe should fit. Next, Crocs. Few shoe trends are as polarizing as Crocs, the foam clogs everyone either loves or loves to loathe. Originally designed as boat shoes, Crocs proliferated in beach and nautical settings in the early 2000s, before exploding in popularity in the mid and late 2000s. In 2007, $847 million of Crocs were sold, including to then-President George W. Bush. The company was nearly flattened by the Great Recession, but managed to bounce back, riding undulating waves of popularity, as its unmistakable design has come in and out of public favor. Suffice it to say, with their bulging soles, plastic texture, clunky strap, and prominent ventilation perforation, Crocs do not fit into the classic style aesthetic. which is fine. They were designed as work or leisure shoes for utilitarian or extremely casual circumstances. But whenever something becomes famous, it can sometimes go a little bit too far afield from its original purpose, like when Succession star wore a pair of Crocs to the 2020 Emmys. This weird mingling of casual and formal styles is just so distracting and jarring. As you might imagine, Crocs do not appear in our guide to the black tie dress code. We also find it a little ironic that corporate hype and special collaborations have created Crocs that cost hundreds of dollars, when the shoes were originally marketed for being so cost-effective. We can't explain why this Croc costs over $300 for resale, but we can explain why real Croc and alligator leather is so expensive. Raphael will give you all the details in this video. Next, slides. A slide is any backless and open-toed mule flip-flop, and I'm sure just saying the name has many thinking of the famous Adidas model. Ancient sandals that visually resemble slides have been around for millennia, which I guess technically makes it a little hard to call them a trend. But of course, modern slides made their debut in the second half of the 20th century, and while originally being confined to beach, pool, or athletic settings, they've recently been setting foot into other areas of menswear. The evolving role of the slides is similar to that of flip-flops in general, but slides have certainly come a long way since the shower rooms at college or from the YMCA, with versions offered by brands like Fendi, Yves Saint Laurent, and Gucci. Just as we said for flip-flops, we're happy to acknowledge that there is a time and a place for slides. But in our opinion, that place is not at a formal event like at a wedding, or any other circumstances when you're expected to dress up or wear a suit. The exposed construction and general styling of the shoe is simply far too casual for anything but very casual occasions. So here's hoping that slides, with suits at least, is a trend that will slide on out of here. All black trainers. We've said it time and time again. Black is the most overrated color in menswear, and that goes for some shoe styles too. All black leather dress shoes are best reserved for formal occasions, where their subdued refinement is the perfect accessory to a black or white tie ensemble, or for business settings, where a black Oxford is king. Suffice it to say, all black sneakers do not belong in either of those situations, and their black color detracts from the casual nature that a stylish pair of sneakers can bring to an outfit. For most men, all black trainers will either look distracting, because solid black will not go with the rest of your outfit, or uninspiring, because your entire ensemble is black, neither of which is indicative of the classic style. There is a caveat though. Younger men, primarily in their late teens and early 20s, can pull off an all-black sneaker in very particular circumstances. As we understand, they're dressing appropriately for their age. Typically speaking, all-black trainers fit the laid-back lifestyle and more athletic builds of this age group, but this very youthful, casual look only works for a small group. We've previously discussed how you can integrate sneakers into stylish, casual outfits. Low-profile, minimalist sneakers and subtle tones that complement your outfit are a great option, like the smart casual ensemble I have assembled here, where you can see how mirroring the brown and white elements of my shirt and jacket helps to break up the black in my sneakers. Next, Unnatural Patinas. Now, we don't want you thinking that we're only targeting casual shoes. There are definitely trends in dress shoes that we can't wait to see fizzle out. Now, one will be controversial, we know. Unnatural patinas. Bold shoe colors in menswear have appeared regularly throughout the 20th century. This effect was usually achieved with two-tone shoes, like Spectators, or the addition of suede. But in the late 1960s and 70s, bright and vibrant patinas came into vogue, and they've come in and out of fashion since then, buoyed primarily by other gentlemen who like to wear their shoes flashy and bold. Ideally, we believe that a shoe patina should emphasize and intensify the natural beauty of a shoe, bringing out the rich, original luster of the leather. But of course, by definition, a patina is not exactly the original color of the leather. So there's always going to be a gray zone between natural and unnatural patinas. We also acknowledge that unnatural patinas have, in the past 3 decades, effectively become commonplace. Dark olive, navy, and gray shoes are regularly seen on stylish gentlemen, even if most animals don't have hides that color. But we do think there's a distinction to be made between versatile and nuanced colors that blend into the classic color palette, and loud and exuberant colors. Not only are these patinas clearly unnatural, they likely won't harmonize well with a classic ensemble, and might very well draw the wrong kind of attention and invite unfair judgment. Next, overly embellished shoes. Overly embellished shoes are another example of shoe trends we can't stand. What do we mean? Shoes that have some kind of superfluous detailing added to them, so they appear cooler, trendier, and edgier. When it comes to versatile and timeless classic men's shoes, we don't see how a pair of loafers are improved by the addition of Roman-esque gladiator-style spikes. We are not entertained. or a pair of derbies with a floral cotton jacquard applied to the uppers. Embellishments like these are intended to create visual interest and mix up the styling of classic men's shoes. But in our opinion, these over-the-top additions actually distract from what makes a classic shoe so great. Superfluous embellishments actually make a shoe look cluttered, distracting you from the subtle details that are so integral to the classic style. How are you supposed to appreciate the lustrous texture of Italian calfskin when it is hidden under a craft store shelf worth of glittering sequins? Some embellishments can adversely affect the functionality of the shoes. Now, how can you benefit from the natural give of leather when the front third of the shoe is wrapped in metal and beads? In addition to being gaudy and attention-seeking, these embellishments just seem wasteful to us. They don't complement the natural beauty of the classic shoe, and they often aren't innovative enough to really be avant-garde. They just occupy a jarring, very cluttered middle ground, where an attempt has been made to gild the lily, and not very well in our opinion. And last, square-toed shoes. Both casual and dress shoes come in square-toed varieties, and we suggest you avoid them in whatever form they assume. Square-toed shoes were popular historically because they allowed for an oversized toe box, letting the shoe fit a greater number of sizes. Now, this was useful in the early days of modern shoe production, as shoe sizes were not yet standardized. So you see many square-toed shoes in museums, and this is where we wish they would stay. Nowadays, square-toed shoes are usually a hallmark of poorly made mass-production shoes, the thought being that they'll be more comfortable and provide extra space for your toes. But really, they only look like that because they're much cheaper and easier to manufacture. Now, if you do have wide feet, they'll be much better served by selecting a wider shoe from a reputable and high-quality shoe manufacturer. Brands like Ace Marks and Allen Edmonds, and many more, carry ead width and larger to help you get the right fit, without having to consign yourself to shoes that look stubby and squat because of the mishandling of the toe. Occasionally, you'll see an expensive shoe rendered with a square toe. The intention here is to often draw attention to the shoe because it is so unusual, but purposefully creating something that looks bad seems to be the opposite of stylish. So whether you're seeking comfort or unique toe shape, we suggest looking elsewhere. One quick note here, square toes are not to be confused with the chisel toes. Sometimes the terms are used interchangeably. Chisel toes, while slightly squared, are still elegant and classic. You can learn more in our guide to shoe toe shapes here. So when it comes to bad shoe trends, are our thoughts on the same page as yours? Or were they way off? Let us know in the comments below. And if there are any other shoe trends you'd like to see the back of, let us know about those too. Now today I am wearing a green cable knit sweater, a blue and white dress shirt with navy blue slacks, and brown dress shoes with Fort Belvedere socks. Check out the Fort Belvedere shop here for socks like these.